Hello and welcome to today's amazing session. Welcome, everyone. And today we're going to be talking about why your child fights homework every single night and what you can do about it, especially now that we're about to get into a school period. You know, for a long time, children have been on holidays, been enjoying themselves. It's the holiday season. And so, you, the parent, you've also not been able to have those daily tantrums. You've not had them. And so, like, a lot of things have been a little bit, laid back, right? And so, nothing has really triggered whatever feeling or whatever fights that you are used to having with your kids, especially as around homework. And so, they're cruising, right? However, this episode we're going to go deep into exactly how you can mitigate that, rather, and why it happens. Because when you know why it happens, then obviously you can now know how to mitigate that. Okay, so if you are here and you're excited, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you're here and you are excited to be here. All right? Let me know in the chat. Great. Let me check on my device and see. Welcome. See. Great. Good morning. All right. So once again, my name is Chris, and welcome to the Tensai Morning Show, where we discuss everything about raising genius kids. And today we'll be talking about why your child fights homework every single night. So think about this, okay? Think about this for a moment. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. Your child walks through the door and say, "Okay, let's do homework." Maybe after they've rested, and you say, "Okay, let's do homework," and then boom, nothing happens. You say nothing happens, or they are like, "I don't want to, I'm tired," or they complain. Can I play first? You know, and then you are like, "Oh, or yeah, try to finish your assignment first before you can go and play, or do this," and then they push back, they refuse, they complain. You get frustrated, they get upset. By the time that you actually sit down to do homework, you are both already in a fight. By the time both of you are ready, you now don't first fight. And the homework that should have taken 20-25 minutes takes 2 hours because nobody's in the right headspace. So it feels for you like your child is lazy or stubborn or willfully refusing to cooperate. But what I've learned is that the homework fight is almost never about the homework itself. It's about something that happened before the homework even started. Okay? It's about something that happened before it started. Right? So what is homework resistance? What is homework resistance? Here's the thing. Your child has been at school for 6 hours, or some for most school or more children, probably close to 8 hours. They'll be managing their attention, they'll be managing their behavior, they'll be managing their social interactions, they'll be managing the academic demands the entire time. And so they have probably been overstimulated by noise, by activity, by the pressure of being in a structured environment. So by the time that they get home, their emotional tank is empty. They are not tired from thinking. though they might be, they are tired from regulating themselves. And the moment you ask them to sit down and do more focused work, they have nothing left. This is also the thing that also happens while your child might also fight coming or attending lessons, right? They're not being difficult, they're being overwhelmed. And the resistance is their way of saying, I can't do this right now. Okay? And so, how do you actually get this? What your children need is what we call decompression time. Now, most parents already do a fraction of this. They say, oh, my child needs to eat and rest, right? But really, what that time should be is decompression. So, decompression is not about laziness, it's about regulation, it's about making sure that the time that is very intentional for rest and not just because they are not doing anything that has to do with academics at the time. So when your child first gets home, their nervous system is still in on mode from school. So they need time to calm down, right? They need time to calm down. They need time to leave that phase. And in leaving that phase, what it typically entails is that they don't have anything that drags, because the moment it's dragging, it defeats the entire purpose, right? It defeats the entire purpose. And so they need to come down. This might be 30 minutes of quiet time alone, or time outside, or just talking about their day, something that is typical and doesn't require a lot of mental brain load to carry. So anything that actually helps them to transition from a place of, oh, I've been doing so much in school, to, oh, I'm trying to just decompress. Whatever helps them transition from school mode, whatever helps them do that. Now, if you skip this and you go straight to homework, you're asking their brain to do academic work while they are dysregulated. So it doesn't work. The homework, the homework takes forever, right? Because their frustration is high. And everyone ends up upset. You are angry, they are angry. But if you do the decompression first, homework, it becomes possible. The child has regulated, they've eaten, they've moved, they've connected, and now they have some capacity left, right? So this is very important, especially like in terms of creating that, especially in terms of creating that study schedule. One of the biggest facets of creating a study schedule is that you must time. Rest is an active word. Rest time is an active word. That time that they used to rest is so vital, because without it, the whole system breaks. So your child doesn't go from school and boom, they are doing academic work, which is why I think it's useless to say, oh, after school, my child do after school lessons immediately after school. Yeah, that's why your child hates it. That's why. That's why they hate it, because there's no regulation time, right? So now that we've talked about let's talk about environment. Let's talk about where it happens. Because most parents don't think about this. They don't think about this, right? I think that most people don't even understand the concept of study zones. They are like, what? Anywhere there's table and chair, yeah, go and sit down. Let's do this. Or let's go to the dining table. They're not intentional about this, right? Homework is homework. Anywhere should work. Abby? Well, wrong. Absolutely wrong. Because the environment affects focus more than you would think. Noise, lighting, temperature, how organized the space is. If homework is happening at the kitchen table while you are cooking dinner and your partner is watching TV, or a sibling is playing, your child's focus is divided. They are managing the distractions while trying to do math. Compare that to a quiet, well-lit corner of a room with just the materials they need. No screens in sight, no noise, everything organized. That same child can do the work in half the time with half the frustration. Environment matters a lot. This is what we call the study zone. When we talk about that, it's a study zone where it happens. You have to create a custom place, a custom space. Because when you do that, you are able to actually give your child more room to succeed in terms of actually getting through with this once and for all. So you don't need a fancy desk or a separate room, but what you need is quiet and minimal distraction. Okay? So here's the protocol that actually works. We call it a three-step protocol. Number one is decompress. So your child comes home for the next 20 to 30 minutes, nothing. Let them eat, move, play, talk about their day, let them regulate. Now, the good thing is you don't have to do all of this. You can pick only maybe two, eat and rest, or move. In fact, I don't even suggest that play, because for most children, when they start, they can't stop. Right? For most children, when they start, they can't stop. So you want to eat and rest or talk about their day, just basically let them decompress. Then step two, set up. Once they've decompressed, you move to the home workspace, right? That you've set up beforehand, right? So talk about what they need to do. So let's say, oh, by that time you say you have maths and spelling today. Let's start with maths. So as at the time this space already exists, this study space that I told you about. And the thing also happen about a chair and table, you need to very particular about a spot in your house where they are not exposed to that kind of noise. Right? And so the third step after you've done these two things is to work in bursts. So what I mean work in bursts, we call this method in psychology, we call it Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro technique is a technique that allows you to break up chunks of time so as to actually get more action to happen within that broken time. So instead of trying to do something for a stretch at an hour, you can decide to break that hour into three blocks of 20 minutes each, and it's 20, 20, 20, right? And then you focus for 20 minutes, you do one singular thing, you rest, you do another 20 minutes, you rest for 5 minutes, you do another 20 minutes, right? That's what we call the Pomodoro technique. So burst of focus work with breaks in between. It's so important, especially like if your child always loses, especially if your child always, you know, he lacks concentration or he's always fighting. That this is one major thing that can really, really help. Okay, because 85% of homework battles are about timing and the environment, not the child. I promise you. If you know how to set this up, a lot of these fights that you have will go away. All right, because I remember I got a story one time about a child. She was 9, and homework was a nightmare for her and her mother. Every 2 hours, every night after school, they would get into massive fights. The parents were exhausted, right? And so when they signed up to work with me, to work with us at Tensai, when we started coaching them, we realized that, oh, what was happening was that this child was oversubscribed. There's this thing that parents do where like they enroll their children for 1,000,001 things. And so the children are oversubscribed. They have to go for this class, they have to go for that class, they have to do piano, they have to do this one, they have to, I don't want child want to take do all of those things. And so like it was too much on it. So immediately the child got home, there was no rest, there was no time. In the compression, the child was still in school mode, emotionally full. Of course, there was a fight. Of course, the child was going to push back. And so what we did was that we changed the protocol. We slotted in a 30-minute decompression. I told the mom, you have to choose, oh, choose which one. And so we got the child to only pick about 2 out of the 1,000,001 things that she's doing that she doesn't have any interest in. And so with those two, we were now able to use that. That's what we focused on. And we gave more time for decompression. Then immediately after that, she went to her study zone. Do you know that till today, It has now become some sort of structure in the house, and nobody has to fight again. Nobody has to fight again. The same child, the same child, just a different process, right? Just a different process. And so, if you don't know what you don't know, you don't know it. And most of the time, what is holding you back is not um it's not that you have a problem or that there's a problem, it's lack of information, lack of the right information, which is what I've given you right now. So as your child is going back to school, take out time to actually create the study zone and the study schedule, especially around when they do their homework. I'm teaching you all about structure because structure is the biggest lever that you can ever pull and put in place as a parent. I promise you. So tell me. I want to hear a comment. I want to hear from you. Tell me, did you get something from this training? Did you get something from this particular module? Did it speak to you? Did it speak to you? What is the biggest homework battle that you're facing right now? Is it the resistance to starting? Is it the time it takes? Is it the one that they will rush and finish and they won't do it well? Which one are you facing? Drop a comment. Drop a comment. Let me see. I'll read it. Drop a comment on the biggest homework battle that you are facing currently. Is there any comments? Any takers? Okay. Anyways, congratulations, guys. Congratulations on staying to the end. If this helped you, then of course, obviously, share this stream with one of your loved ones. You know that this is going to help them. You know. So why are you not sharing it with them? Why are you not giving it to them? Share it in your WhatsApp status. We'll be here every Monday to Friday. Come rain, come sun. We'll be definitely be here talking about how and more ways that you can actually help your child. And tomorrow, we're going to be talking about, so not tomorrow, Monday actually. On Monday, wow, I miss you guys though. On Monday, we're talking about how to set up a learning space because I just talked about it. But Monday, we're going to be talking about how to set up a learning space. All right, it's so vital. Stephen was says initially was a resistance, but he's overcoming it now. Amazing. It's not just about him overcoming it, it's the parent that puts the structure in place for the child to overcome it. And that's by creating the structure that makes it easy for your child to blend. That makes it easy for your child to blend. Once you're able to do that, you're going to start seeing a lot more forthcomingness, if there's any word like that. Anyways, so guys, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you. I really appreciate your time, and I hope that this episode has taught you one or two things that you can go ahead and implement immediately. Have a great morning, and I'll see you.